It's surprisingly simple. We can't go high ground into this team. Let them walk out, and we kill them. If they don't walk out, we get much more gold than they do. Eventually, they will walk out, or we will have a 40k net worth advantage, in which case we'll have a 4th Aegis, and then we'll win the game. That's just how it is. That's Dota.
Banana slam jam.
Okay, got ourselves another replay. This is a 5.2k, pretty high, MMR support. We got ourselves a Warlock. Says, hi BSJ, the lane felt really bad versus Kunkka Phoenix, and I felt my best use was trading with the Phoenix off on the side. But I'd like to know what you think of the lane. Arlena took over mid from someone who queued, but couldn't play it, so everything was kind of scuffed. But I'm looking for tips on what could have been done better in the mid game. In terms of itemization, I feel Shard is too strong on Warlock to pass up, in this game especially, but I really felt like the lack of Glimmer Force once they started running us over, and I still don't know which of the two I should have gone for. Something that I want you to see in regards to your Shard is that your hero becomes really good at lane clearing, and the opponent has like insanely good pickoff. Like anybody who shows on creep waves is dealing with a Pudge, a Slark, a Kunkka. Heroes that just terrorize, heroes that literally show on the creep wave. So this is a game where it's really important for somebody on your team, whether it's you or somebody else, to be able to clear creep waves really fast and from like far away. So if this game goes to I would know that I would turn into a split-pushing, annoying guy. That's what I would turn into. If I have my ultimate, I would probably sit behind a core. If I don't have my ultimate, annoying split-pushing guy. Where you're like literally never showing on the creep wave. You're just like W'ing it and Qing it and then leaving. Let's see what happens. Is this the Warlock build? I actually don't know. I feel like a lot of people go like Stick and Sage's Mask and but I don't actually know. Like, I don't like the vibes of this starting build. You have 300 gold. What was the purpose of this, actually?
Not for you.
Okay, this is a big issue. This is a common issue for supports. So I want you to think about it this way. You have a carry that's not going to get dove. You are in a situation where the opponent has 5 creeps and you have 0. You're staying near a carry that doesn't need your help, and in the near future, sorry, you have 1 creep left, but you're going to have 0. In the near future, they're going to have creeps and you're not, right? So what's going to happen is, when that happens, you run out of creeps. Notice how you're stuck running away because these 2 creeps start hitting you. So what are you supposed to do here? You're supposed to recognize this situation as soon as possible. What happens here is, right here, Phoenix is going to drag. And what happens is, if you follow these 3 creeps with the Phoenix, you are then putting yourself in a situation where you're not near your carry, who no longer needs your help, and if the opponent ever turns to trade with you, you have 3 creeps, and they have 0. So what that means is you're going to win the trades. You're not going to be the one ever running away. You can use creeps as a shield. This is something you should be doing in the super early game as much as possible, because obviously the creeps are the same strength all throughout the game, while heroes are at their weakest point at level 1. So the fact that you like choose to see this and stay here is a huge sign that you don't really understand the importance of creep wave equilibrium, how many creeps each team has, and what that means for benefiting on trades. So that's a big deal that you stay here. It's a really big deal that you choose this guy. Like, if you had just walked with these creeps the second they got dragged, and just hit the Phoenix and forced him into his tower, oh, that'd be so f***ing good. Solo XP for Lifestealer, winning the trade against Phoenix. It's a f***ing Kunkka with level 1 Tidebringer. They literally can't do shit. They probably both gonna walk at you, and you're literally just gonna walk to the left while your Lifestealer gets solo XP. And now, Phoenix gonna hold the wave outside a tower. You're sharing XP with Lifestealer underneath it. Kunkka getting free denies over here because he's gonna do this. Dude, if you force them into tower there, oh, it's so f***ing good. It's literally lane winning. I'm a carry. I'm literally like on my knees sucking you off in gratitude. And instead, now the lane's just at their tower. We have no small camp. Unfortunate. Now the lane's pushing really hard back into us, which we actually don't want because we have a life stealer, which is a hero that like doesn't really clear the creeps. I'd be helping him hit creeps here as much as possible. So like right here, I would be up here hitting creeps, literally just hitting creeps. It's super important. I'd even consider like mangoing and using fatal bonds on the Kunkka. But now there's a bunch of creeps pushing into you. Lifestealer's missing the range creeps. Phoenix is gonna pull hard camp. You've got Lifestealer against 2 strength heroes, so it's all good in the sense that your carry is gonna have a game. He's not like or anything, but like, man, that is just such a lane losing play. It is so bad. Like scale of 1 to 10, like there's mistakes where you slightly miss a pull and that's like a 2 out of 10. That was literally a 10 out of 10. It ruined the lane equilibrium. It took XP from your life stealer. It gave this Kunkka solo XP. It set them up to push the lane in later and pull the hard camp. Like, you literally ruined the first 4 minutes of this lane with the one move. I would have probably prioritized... Why are you buying boots in this lane? They don't really have chase. Are boots correct here? I feel like I would just get mana regen. I think I would just buy a... Now you're laning with this guy all the time?
Cleaver's edge will never die.
Dude, if I'm lifestealing, man, I just want you to pull and then come heal me. Why are you in lane so much? Just go pull. Why have you not pulled? You've had like 3 minutes to pull. Please, for the love of God, just pull. Now it's too late because the lane's like already shoved into your tower.
Mine.
Little hope for Dire's middle tower. Radiant's top tower.
Your concept of like how to play the lane is literally non-existent. So I'm going to literally act like you know nothing, okay? Let's consider the fact that you got to 5.2k somewhat of a miracle, but also a tribute to the rest of your gameplay. Your team fighting or warding or some shit must be really good because your laning is atrocious. So what I need to do is to recenter your focus. Early waves, it's really important to focus on how many creeps each team has and using that creep count to your advantage or disadvantage in any case, like avoiding disadvantage situations and thinking about every action that happens in the lane and how it affects lane equilibrium, okay? So like letting the opponent 4 drag a creep wave and not following them lets them sit it right in front of their tower with like no implications, right? They can literally just tank the wave outside of their tower and then do exactly what they did and it like ruins the lane for you. So basically, if you're allowing the enemy 4 to just pull the wave, unless you're literally killing the offlaner, it's really bad. So then secondly, when the lane's near their tower, there's 2 things you have to concern yourself with, or I'd say 3. When the lane's near their tower, if you've already f***ed up or something's already happened, maybe your carry f***ed up, then there's 3 things that can happen. 1, we want to get that small camp opened up as much as possible. We got to make sure we sentry it right away. So like the second you recognize that the lane's pushing, like if we just rewind. So like lane's in a bad spot. I need that small camp sentried right now, okay? Because that small camp needs to show up at 2 minutes. Like this exact moment, all I care about is that that small camp spawns. You have virtually no concept of how lane equilibrium works, okay? Like, I can tell. You would do any... If you did any of this stuff, I'd be like, okay, he's kind of on the right track, right? But, like, you're not doing any of it. So the fact that you're doing literally 0 of it, I have to assume you don't know anything. So, what happens here is when the opponent gets the... So, if you somehow f*** up, or your carry f***s up, or whatever, somehow the lane ends up like this. Okay, where the lane's in front of their tower. First off, I want you to know, like, public service announcement, all support players, this is a red alert situation. This right here is a red alert. Offlaner or 4 sitting in front of their tower holding the wave. What I'm saying is, sometimes there's like absolutely nothing you can do about it. Okay, like sometimes, trust me, as a carry player, it's like, eh. But like, if there was something you could have done and you just let that happen, like, oh man, it's like literally having a fire in your house and you're like, well, I guess it's just time to burn, you know? Let's just go. Like, that's what you're literally saying by watching this situation happen, okay? So then, secondly, once the lane's already here, there's 3 concerns. That's what we were just talking about, right? Is 1, we need the small camp opened up. At the very least, the enemy 4 has to, like, walk into you to body block the small camp, right? Like, you deward it, they walk over, and they allow you to get free hits off on them because they're spending their time putting themselves out of position to block your small camp, right? That's like the very least that you should do, right? So then, that's 1 concern. 2 concerns, the reason why the small camp's a concern is that's our way to get the lane back. That's really important, right? That's the way that we're going to reliably get the lane back. And it also makes it so that if the lane is that far up, we're either getting the lane back or our carry is playing a 1v1. Meaning the enemy 4 had to come over and like contest us, so it's like not a big deal. So like if your carry is 1v1ing near their tower, it's usually not that bad. I'll tell you from a carry player's perspective, unless it's like Viper or some shit. And then, so that's 1 concern. 2 concerns is that the opponent's just going to sit there. So if the small camp's somehow not available, there's only one other way to fix the lane, and that's to shove it into their tower, right? To shove it really hard into their tower, and they'll repeat the process of they have to tank it outside of their tower to prevent it from going into their tower. Because if you shove it into their tower, then the tower is going to naturally push the lane back into you. That's what's going to happen. We got to make it so the lane equilibrium either comes back or it goes so far forward that it's going to slingshot back to us. That's the 2 options. That's 2 concerns. So that's the 2 things we should look to go towards to fix the lane. The 3rd concern is that if the lane is near their tower, there's a common occurrence where this happens, right? Well, I'll show you what happens. Where their creep wave, the one that spawned at 130, right? And yours that spawned at 130, theirs gets here first. Like, that's how it works, right? Because it's near their tower. So theirs gets here first. That's a very common occurrence. Like, this wave getting here before you, I mean, it literally happens every game if the lane's out here. So their lane's going to get here first, which that means a lot of times they're going to, like, double up on range creeps. So I see this happening, and I know that the lane's going to get shoved into us really f***ing hard. Like, the second I see them have 2 range creeps here, I know that the lane momentum is going to snowball towards us really f***ing hard. Like, 30 seconds from now, a minute from now, it's going to be like 6 creeps underneath our tower. Unless, like, they have Enigma or your carry nukes the wave. But especially since you have a lifestealer who, like, can't really clear a bunch of creeps. So if your lifestealer wasn't a noob, he'd be hitting these creeps right now. You know, he would actually be hitting the melee creeps. The enemy melee creeps. You know, he'd be lowering their HP to prevent the lane from, like, shoving really hard into him. So then, what's going to happen is if the lane pushes back into us like this, there's only one other concern we have at this point, right? And that's that they're going to pull the hard camp. So what you're supposed to do here is at the timing where they're going to pull the hard camp, right? Which is going to be with this 215 wave, like the one that's going to get to about right here at 215, or at 245. That's their timing. Like, you should know generally in your head when they're going to pull. Like, it's not like you're guessing when they're going to pull. They can literally only pull at specific intervals because the creeps are there. You should be over here aggroing this creep camp this way ahead of time so they literally can't pull. If you see good support players in pro matches or like in streams and stuff, they'll do this. So they'll drag this camp over here at the exact time Phoenix would have wanted to pull it. So this is a situation where I say that's the option because you're not strong, you know? You're half HP, no mana. Like, you don't actually want to fight them. You just want to prevent this guy from pulling. What's going to happen is you're not going to do any of that. It's 245, predictably so. We know exactly what this Phoenix is going to do. And we just sit over here letting him pull. Right? So, a lot of viewers, maybe you, think I'm being pretty harsh. Like, I think for you to be 5.2k and for me to watch the first 3 minutes of this game and have it look like this is insulting to anybody who is below 5k MMR. If you are below 5k MMR as a support and you are watching this, you should be insulted. This is the literal worst 3 minutes I've ever seen a 5k play. This is insane. And the funny thing about it is, I say that because I'm over-exaggerating. This happens in my games. This is like 8k core players who are stuck playing support do this. This is insane to me that you can be this high MMR and do this. Like, I'm flaming a 5k, dude. Like, honestly, I have 8k MMR players that do this. Like, this is just complete negligence for anything fundamental about a lane. We have failed the pull camps, both of them. We have failed the lane equilibrium, me and the lifestealer. We're gonna get out of this lane. I don't need to watch it anymore. We're gonna fast forward to like... Okay, we're down by 4K. Dude, you're just not gonna win games if this looks like this. I would say that 5 has a lot of impact in the late game, more so than it used to have. So it's not like it's not like the meme of the old where the 5 has no items and all they did was lane and all that kind of stuff. That first 3 minutes is so bad, it's possible to literally never do it again. So I gotta shy on the side of not destroying your confidence. I want you to know that if you are 5.2k laning like that, you actually have insanely high upward potential. I'm not even kidding. You have insanely high upward potential. So grouping up as 4 is the pretty natural thing to do when you're losing by this much. I would most likely try to force the opponent to use some spells and then back off. So yeah, your lifestealer's farming. This is actually fine. Yeah, lifestealer's farming during all this. You guys are minimally committing. This is fine with me. Against that lineup, I would have definitely bought a Windlace. Just movement speed really important against Slark Pudge. Wait, why didn't you golem this? Dude, there's a f***ing mid-Pudge. Just f***ing golem his ass, dude. Dude, this is literally a highlight reel of, like, my 5. Like, dude, oh, man. The more you are losing, the less picky you can be with your spells. If your teammates have other teamfight spells and you're a hero with a long cooldown teamfight spell, I want you to often think about the fact of whether or not you would want to fight the opponent without your teammates' spells and only with yours. So the thing is, if you're really far ahead right now, like, so let's say the lineups are the exact same and you're really far ahead, it's most likely that, like, just Arena is enough to net a kill. You know, just Snapfire ulti is enough to net a kill. You know, just Warlock Golem is enough to go push a tower. Like, you know, to feel confident grouping up and going and pushing a tower. But, like, the further behind you are, the more and more it's going to take for something to work. It's like, the more specific you have to be about making a move. So, like, if you're losing, and you should definitely feel like you're losing. Maybe you're one of those people that looks at the kill count and is like, yeah, you know, it's fine. It's 11 to 10. But, like, I have to imagine if you're 5k, you're somewhat aware that you're losing this game. Like, you know, I fast forwarded through the part that led up to this, but, you know, you guys are down by 4k net worth. So I have to assume you feel like you're losing. Just golem this guy, man. Like, it's never going to be worth it. Dude, I would rather you golem his dead body than see this. When Twitch chat flames pro games where you see them use 4 ults on one guy, I want you to know that that is one of the indicators that I know those people in chat are idiots. Like, I'm just telling you, man, that this is like a pretty common sentiment in the Dota community where people like lol at pro players using a bunch of ults on one guy. It's not actually bad. People are just stupid, okay? It's not actually bad. Just chuck 4 ults on that Pudge and kill him, okay? That's it for that replay. I've seen enough.